Hi everybody, it's Saturday, September 6th, 2008. Thanks for stopping by. Today is my daughter Jasmine's birthday, so happy birthday to Jasmine. She's 1 year old today. And I would like to add a little bit to what I was talking about yesterday. Yesterday I talked about how the conventions were shams and that there were many really bad things happening associated with these conventions that you probably don't know about because the news isn't reporting them. But I'd just like to say that as empty and as disheartening as these conventions are and as ominous as the circumstances surrounding them may be, there is another thing that happened recently that was much more hopeful, much more substantial, much more historic. The Rally for the Republic in Minneapolis, Minnesota, featuring Ron Paul and Jesse Ventura and a lot of other people. I've been watching the videos on YouTube of this event and watching Freedom TV. And I have to tell you that it's just inspiring to me to see this event. I can't wait to see all the video surrounding the event. I can't wait to see every single bit of footage that was captured because it's just an amazing feeling to see it. I think you really should go see it if you haven't seen it yet. It will make your day. Everything about it. It's just an amazing feeling to watch it because, look, this is the freedom movement in this country. This is the movement that is championing our Constitution, our way of life, our moral values, our real moral values. This is what America is all about, folks. These people, these ideas, these values. This is America, the real America. And we're losing it at a very fast rate throughout most of the country. But if you go to any event that's being held by the Campaign for Liberty, you will see America again, the real America. And it's a wonderful thing to see. We know now that there were over 1 million people who voted for Ron Paul for president. Over 1 million people. And John McCain is secretly negotiating with Ron Paul to get his endorsement because he knows there's a lot of Ron Paul supporters. But you know what? Ron Paul's not going to give it to him. Not in 1,000,000 years. Because if he did, he'd have to go against everything that he believes in, like he said on the Colbert Report. If he endorses McCain, he has to go against everything that he believes in. That's a job for John McCain, not for Ron Paul. So, McCain is trying to get Ron Paul's endorsement in vain, and at the Rally for the Republic, they were telling everybody, okay, don't hide your support for Ron Paul anymore. There's a lot of us, and it's time that we take it to the streets and take over this party. And, look, go to the Republican Party functions and the meetings with a Ron Paul button on so that all the other Ron Paul supporters can see you and recognize who you are. And we're taking over the party, folks, and we're taking over the country. We're going to bring back freedom and democracy to America. That's what we're doing. And now, you might see people continue, like I saw people today, discrediting Ron Paul, or trying to discredit Ron Paul, talking about how he gave money to his family who were in his campaign staff. I mean, come on, let's face it, folks. You can't have a campaign staff without paying them. And people are still talking about Ron Paul being a racist and all this other nonsense. Well, look, you know, first of all, that's just never been proven. Okay, Ron Paul has never said a racist thing in his life, and you know that's a fact. In fact, Ron Paul has made so many statements that are the antithesis of racism. You know, like he said that his hero is Martin Luther King Jr., and he said that for over 20 years. Okay, this isn't a new thing. He said that he's not in favor of any form of collectivism. It means, you know, he's not in favor of racism. He's not in favor of socialism. You know, classism, class warfare. He's not in favor of any of that. He's in favor of individual liberty, equality for all people, no matter what kind of people they are. That's what he's fighting for, people. And when you see these people running around on YouTube and on other places, desperate to discredit him any way they can, you know what that means? Ron Paul isn't running for office anymore. He's not running for anything. You know what that means? It means that Ron Paul and his message are very relevant to a lot of people and very threatening to a lot of people. You know, his message and his support, his supporters, are very threatening to the military-industrial complex, the media, all these people that are bringing about the horrible things in the world today that we're fighting against, taking away our freedoms at home, causing untold amounts of misery and human suffering all over the world in order to perpetuate this American empire that doesn't benefit any of us except for maybe a few people at the very top. That is a moral abomination. That's absolutely evil. That's what he's fighting against. And, you know, he's fighting against the wars that we're going to be forced to fight in the future based on lies. You know, we were taken into Iraq based on lies. We're about to be taken into Iran based on lies. We might be fighting Russia based on lies. And this is the one man who's standing up against it. Nobody else really is, except maybe Dennis Kucinich. But, you know, this is the one man that's saying, hey, let's stop the wars. Let's stop the aggression. Let's stop the police state measures. Let's bring back individual liberty. And if people want to take issue with him because he paid his campaign staff, or because they believe he said something racist 20 years ago that he didn't even say, you know, look, people, you're blind as a bat if you're even worried about that kind of nonsense. You need to be worried about the other 434 members of Congress who are voting against your individual liberty and doing things that, you know, that would make your allegations against Ron Paul seem like the actions of a Boy Scout. You know, let's be honest here. We've got an administration of war criminals, and you're worried about Ron Paul because he paid his campaign staff? Well, you know, these kind of people, the only thing that I can think to say is when they come for you, it won't be a big tragedy. Sorry to say it, you know, but look, they're bombing children all over the world, okay? When they drag you away, you know, it won't be because you didn't help them do it, you know, because the people who fought for you, you turned against. You turned against Martin Luther King Jr. You turned against Ron Paul based on lies. You know, and that's what's going to happen. You have to stand up for your rights or you're not going to have any. But again, watch the Campaign for Liberty videos. They're awesome. I love them, and I think you'll love them too. Thanks for watching.